Hi, I'm Randy DeVita. I'm the Vice President of Customer Success at Treasury4. A big part of what makes our customers successful is insight to data. I wanted to take a few minutes to walk through a few of the ways that we see our customers using AI in reporting. One of the first things that we see with customers is just the ability to visualize data, but a lot of times it's not enough just to show visualizations. Sometimes the question is, what does this mean? So using reporting tools, we're now able to allow customers to generate AI-generated trend analysis. So I can look at something like, show me the customer receipts for a certain period of time and ask the question, what does this mean? AI will go out and will actually produce an explanation to give us some insights of what's happening with customer receipts over a period of time, where are the highest receipts, who's contributing most to the receipts. I can also play with this a little bit and say, rather than looking at all the customer receipts across the organization, maybe I just want to see a trend or some sort of analysis for receipts for a certain entity. So if I look at Canada, I can do the same action and just say, hey, let's take a look at the customer receipts just for Canada, and AI will produce for me some insights that I can leverage, review, and distribute to members of the organization. A different way that we see customers interacting with AI in the tool as well is it's not just enough just to see the data visually. There's also the information in the system that is not graphical, just give me the raw numbers. And sometimes what we find customers asking about is, how do I interact with this data? How can I change this information? So now if I have some of this information here and I'm seeing account balances, what I'm able to do is use AI to do a couple of things. One, I've got an interface up here that is very much like Excel, but I can actually use a formula assistant, AI generated, to say, what does this formula actually mean? Well, it's explaining to me the sum of all the values here is just in reporting currency, here's the total cash amounts. But I might want to say, instead of explain what this means, I might actually want to ask it, well, can you actually build for me a formula where you're going to take the amounts, and maybe I don't want to see them in decimals, so I just want to see everything. Can you just show it to me in millions? What would that look like? Well, I could actually give it a prompt. It will produce, this is what I think you should use as a formula, and I can apply that formula and see what the results are going to be. But even more than this, I think what we're excited about and what we see customers doing is it's not enough just to interact with the existing report content, but often the question from customers is, where do I start? And so using AI, we're actually, we have a function in the solution called Report Builder now, where you can start from scratch. Here I have a completely blank sheet. And the question sometimes from customers is how do I get a certain type of report? Well, often the question is, I don't know really where to start. I've got a bunch of different data sources. I don't know what the fields are. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. Here we're able to put in a prompt and say, hey, I'd like to see a balance. Just show me my total counterparty exposure balances. I can put that in, give it a prompt, and sit back and allow it to walk through and start to generate a report for me. What we think is really interesting is it's explaining what it's doing as it goes. So first is trying to decide, what data sources should I be looking at? Part of what we're doing is training the model to know what are the data models that are relevant to the prompts, what are the fields that are material for these prompts. So it's saying, okay, I'm going to go after cash balances, but it's also giving some insight about how it's going to build the report. How am I going to group things? How am I going to filter things? How am I going to present the data? And so here, what we're able to see is it's giving you the results of what it's done. It's showing a couple of different ways that it might present the data in the system, and it's allowing you to say, hey, this is a report I think I want to use. Let's try this one. And it's allowing to actually take from scratch a blank report, maybe change things the way that I want to see them. Instead of showing it as a bar, I might say, I'd rather see a donut. I could put myself inside the donut. And then I have a report for myself that I'm able to go off and save so I can use it later.